The human body is not designed to manage conflict. Peace is the opposite of conflict. Our bodies thrive when there is peace and really struggle when there is a lot of conflict. And currently, we live in a culture that thrives on conflict. It's not doing well. And currently, what is happening is it is causing our families to be destructed. I'm concerned about this, and so this is something I want to talk about very specifically because families are presently being destroyed through our culture wars. Now, culture wars begin with words, words that are used to malign human beings that are different from us. Scapegoating is a real thing that is impactful because the intention of scapegoating is for the persons in power to not have to be responsible for their choices. And this is happening in our families as well. So I wanted to talk about it a little bit ahead of the holiday season because I wanted to give you all kind of a framework of what's happening in a lot of families that are becoming estranged. And I also wanted to give you a framework of what can be done ahead of the holiday season to address those issues so that families can feel safe. Now, autonomic ladders are all about safety. We cannot be okay unless we feel safe. So let's review what the 4 steps are on the autonomic ladder. On the right, it starts with I can't. That's when somebody is completely frozen down. They cannot move. This is somebody who has been targeted, criticized, accused, blamed, teased, all sorts of stuff in family systems, and they just can't move. They freeze. They likely are in the fetal position emotionally, don't come out and play. They are not interacting. They are not present. Above that is going to be I'm alert. Now, this is a lot of families right now, fight or flight. This is probably where our country is as a whole. Fight or flight says that I am or somebody else is going to be an object in order to achieve the means that I intend. So, for example, if somebody kind of stays back in a family and starts getting accused by their other family members because they're not participating, that would be a way of using that person as an object, accusing them instead of inquiring and figuring out what is going on and how they could be helpful. So I'm alert is when somebody does not feel safe in a family, they need to fight or they need to run away. I'm aware is the next step. I'm aware is when somebody actually starts setting boundaries. So, for example, if someone's family system is not safe to be in, the family dialogue has a lot to do with putting people down, talking about things that matter to somebody else in a harmful way. It talks about destroying certain kinds of people or certain kinds of things that are important to somebody else. I'm aware is the person who's in I'm aware is going to be saying, okay, you know what? I don't like that. I'm going to set some boundaries. Please do not talk about this, that, or the other. Please refer to me this way. Please treat my children this way. Setting those boundaries. And if the family members do not, then that may not be a safe place for that person to be. So I'm aware as the opportunity for the family to correct itself so the person will want to remain engaged in family activities. Then we've got I'm present, and that is when all the boundaries are in place. Everybody's body kind of relaxes. They play games. They laugh. Nobody's hurt. Everybody knows that everybody's going to be okay. They can trust each other. They can trust themselves. They are the safest place to be. Now, presently in our culture, we are in I'm alert, and that means that there's a lot of people who are being objectified, demonized. The use of words to demonize people is what is used so that those in authority do not have to take responsibility for their actions. If there's a scapegoat in a family, I promise you, they are going to be your truth teller. I recommend you lean into those folks and start talking with them about what's really going on and what can we do to be helpful and what can we do to be more supportive. I promise you, scapegoats have a wealth of information. They may not come out right, but the information is valid. There are things that a family can do that will improve their family cultures, despite everything that's going on, if they're able to listen to each other and genuinely care for the suffering that one another has and work to not cause that suffering. Blaming somebody because they don't want to be there is looking in the wrong direction. That's pointing your arrows out instead of looking in. What have I done that makes it feel like this place cannot be a safe place for that family member? Now, scapegoating is a real deal. I really encourage you to explore it more. It is part of my book. I have a whole chapter on scapegoats. They are precious to my heart. Please read Who Am I? A Deep Dive Through Spiritual Wounding to Identity by me, Kara Hudson. It can be found on Amazon or on Google Books. It can be found at Barnes & Noble, and it's also on Audible. Thanks. I'll see you soon.